The final thing that the Lord said is that anyone who participates or sits at the tables of demons will be judged. So if you go to one of those churches that do that, may this be a warning to you. All who partake of Halloween festivities are supping with witches, participating in a high mass of witchcraft. Therefore, when the lords and ladies of witchcraft are judged by the Lord, every invited guest who sat and covenanted with them, Halloween participators, you will be punished also. What makes us think as a society that getting together and singing songs on October the 31st is how you counter the kingdom of hell? Jesus has mentioned such things as when you fast, which means that it's not optional to fast. He has said, pray without ceasing. He has said, speak in tongues and edify yourselves. Wear the full armor of God. Always be ready in and out of season. Contend earnestly for the faith. You are soldiers. What makes the soldiers of God think that if we hold alternatives to what is actually a high witchcraft mass, these people open portals and call their great grandfathers of demons or whoever they call through these portals to pour into the earth realm. They snatch people and make sacrifices of human blood. And yet the church thinks that by hosting trunk or treat, we will effectively break down the evil, the witchcraft, and the death that is Halloween. The next thing the Lord moved to is the practice of Halloween. Personally, I do not understand the fascination with Halloween. It should be clear on its face that anything that is represented to you by a pumpkin with jagged teeth and hollow eyes, where you dress up as witches, skeletons, and other things that represent the dark world, is not something for Christians to partake of. I don't even know why this is an issue. I don't even know why this is a point of discussion. If we know what Satan does, and we have even an inkling of what the spiritual realm, where the demons, the devils, and also the agents of darkness, human agents of darkness that serve the devil willingly, that have covenanted with him and said, you be our Lord, you be our master, we will serve you with our lives, even to the point of giving our lives for you and what we believe. America, you partake of the witches' feast. You dance at All Hallows Eve. You paint yourself and take to the streets to celebrate the highest satanic festival on the calendar. You mock me, America. Your fornications with other gods are too great for me. I will judge you harshly. Your altars are hungry for blood. They cry out day and night before me. Give us blood to drink. Because you have fed these altars with the souls of children, with men, women, and children, I will give you blood to drink. You will be eaters of flesh and drinkers of blood in your turn. Now, as the Lord saw this, I saw these ancient scenes of secret priesthoods, secret brotherhoods, whatever. They were all wearing matching robes. And I saw them that they would capture people and tie people to poles. So they would tie people to poles and tie their hands behind their backs. And then they would cut those people at strategic points on their body. And then they would let the blood run down into bowls. So there was a person being bled to death, and they were collecting the bowls, blood in different bowls. And then they would go over to an altar, and then they would lift up the bowl like, ah, yeah, 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 whatever they were saying. And then they would pour out the blood in an arc upon these altars. And then even though the altar looked just like a brick pizza oven, even though it was just an altar of stone or wood or whatever it was, I also saw that the altar had a personality, and it lifted up its face and it would slurp down this blood greedily. Right after that, I saw the nation of America. I saw the United States map, and all over the map were these red flashpoints. There was not a single state that did not have a red flashpoint, and each red flashpoint was an altar. They appeared like red brick ovens, but then they also appeared like phone booths, and every single phone booth was ringing. Ring, ring, ring. Every altar was calling out for blood. Give us blood. We want blood. Give us blood to drink. And all these altars in America had the same big red tongue that the ancient altars had. And then I saw that America responded to the demand for blood. All over the nation, I saw people spreading out to go and find human sacrifices. They snatched men, women, children, especially children, stole them, bundled them up, tortured them, sexually assaulted them, and then sacrificed them to these altars. And I saw that as these altars in America were drinking and gulping down the blood of the sacrifices, the Lord put the picture of the old priesthoods and how they would get blood from their victims. He superimposed that picture on top of the American map of America's altars being satisfied. Anyone, any church that even tries to do alternatives like trunk or treat or whatever madness that they do every year as an alternative for the kids. The kids don't need to celebrate Halloween. The kids don't need to be a part of that tradition. The kids don't need to sit at the table of Jesus Christ 5 days a week with you and then sit at the table of demons 1 day a week with the devil. And you, their parent, facilitate them, drive them around to pick up candy from people who are poisoning your children. Do you really think that the witches have not prepared candies, trinkets, and gifts to put into your children's hands so that those children bring those things into the house, consume them, and also leave little markers in the house that witch can then use to afflict your household? All of a sudden, you and your husband are fighting. All of a sudden, both of you are sexually tempted, but not to each other. You're not attracted to each other anymore. Now you want to have affairs outside the home. For the simple token or trinket that your child brings into the home, one night a year, you have opened your house to Satan and partaken with the witches. And then you want to go on Facebook and other social media and defend it and say celestial people like you and others are so religious. May God bless you in that pursuit. So, these are the charges that the Lord has brought against the United States of America, her crimes and her sins. For these things, God has mixed America what he called the most bitter cup.